I have been thinking a lot about becoming nobody. I think that's a little bit of a confusing way to describe it. But for me, it's like, okay, wait a second. This is a very mundane example, but I'm at the gym. I'm jogging on the treadmill. And I'm thinking about myself. And I'm like, yeah, I want to get in shape. That's going to be really good. That's going to be good for the family. Me getting in shape. I'll be a healthy dad. And then I realized, like, fuck, you're so self-obsessed. Better than getting in really good shape, even though that's great, would be expanding the scope of my identity to encapsulate the baby and my wife so that we're an organism consisting of these three things. Similarly, if you expand your consciousness out to include your community, it's a really fun thing to do the identical experiment, but with that community. Whoever it may be, your family, your friends, and visualize them achieving better health, higher levels of happiness, joy, and thinking of it not as though they are doing that, but that it's you doing that. If you get healthy and I'm sick, half of us is sick.
Yeah.
And that is a really trippy thing for lifetime members of Club Selfish. Because it's trippy. It's humbling.
Yeah.
It's scary. You cannot do this exercise and simultaneously win. Because the game involves other people. And if you have a game where there's one winner, you're playing that game with your two separate versions of yourself that you're pretending aren't you, you're going to lose every time.
Yeah.
There's a contagion that starts happening one way or the other in certain areas. Did you see the video in New York of the guy trying to sing out the window like they did in Italy?
No.
Oh, it's the funniest shit you ever saw. Some guy decides to do like a poignant song out the window like they did in Italy. And like, it's New York. So this guy's singing within minutes. Someone's like, shut the fuck up. Fuck you. There you see, in the most condensed way, two different vibes. One was trying to tune people into some ethereal joy thing. The other thing is New York. Being like, shut up. A fucking pandemic. Let me sleep. You motherfucker. I'm trying to sleep. I'm sick. Don't sing. Sing inside. Save it for your fucking SoundCloud. Those are two versions of it, which is you get to decide, am I going to sing here? Or I'm going to tell people to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Stop clinging. Okay? And that's the answer to that question of if I have no preferences. It has nothing to do with the preferences. It has to do with the clinging to the preferences.
Okay.
We have preferences all day long. It doesn't matter. It's just the attachment, the clinging.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because the preference, preference is the impulse. Clinging is the reaction.
Preference is this, whatever it may be, is going to be unpleasant. So I don't want to engage. I'm not going to engage with that. Over here, though, it's going to be real pleasant.
Right.
I want to engage over there. It's not so much what you do either way. It's more the interactive clinging with that thing. For instance, if you choose the more desirable, whatever it is, then you find out very quickly, holy shit, this is empty as poop. So eventually the impulse of clinging gets cut right away.
Yes.
You're open to whatever happens in the moment, and more of the right thing, the right action takes place at that time.
So we're in your car smoking a joint, and that's when you're like, yeah, let's go see Ram Dass. Let's go to his house. And that's when my heart just started pounding. I was scared, where your soul knows something's about to happen, but your mind doesn't understand. It was a beautiful day. This was like the first little bit of light, I think, that broke through my mom's death. At the right moment, as all of this is like, I'm grokking all of this. He looks out at the view and then looks at me and goes, ah. And he probably knew I was pretty nervous. And then he turned to me and goes, I want to talk to you. And it was like, oh, shit. He rolled up to me in his wheelchair, and he just looked at me. That's when I started crying a little, because my mom loved him, and I was thinking about those trips. And like, here I was sitting with him. And so I said to him, I wish my mom were here because she loved you. And he got that smile and goes, she is here. And he meant it. He didn't mean like, oh, like in the wind or in the, he meant she's here. And I felt her right there. I was with Ram Dass, but I was with my mom. And he said to me, he pointed to his head and he goes, we've got to get you from here, and pointed to his heart and said, to here. And he goes, we can do that. That moment was the beginning of a very, very slow thawing of my heart. You know, these things that we do to ourselves, that we ask of ourselves, we don't realize we're asking you to make the Amazon order for whatever the dumb thing is that you're ordering at 3 a.m. when you're blasted on an edible, asking you to stay awake and worry over the person who pissed you off 2 years ago because we think it's us. It just is our thoughts. So anyway, yeah, I think that most people, what's really amazing about having a human incarnation is that you become an expert on the earth. You become an expert on matter. You become an expert on being completely fixated on whatever your particular karmic predicament is. You're so good at focusing, fixating, getting lost in the minutia of your life, bean counting, as you call it. And the whole time you become like someone, as Ram Dass puts it, the whole time you become like someone, as Ram Dass puts it, who becomes fixated on a cloud. That's you, this very complex neurotic cloud. And there's a really incredible moment that can happen when just for a second, the cloud parts and you see the sky and you remember, oh, that's what I am too, not just the cloud. Now that to me is one of the most exhilarating, incredible possibilities in a person's life. You're born sky, you turn into cloud. And then the idea that there is, whether you believe this nonsense or not, possibility that even just for a fleeting second, you can lose yourself and experience the incredible, joyful, beautiful, liberating sense of remembering what you really are, that you're much, much more than you think. So to me, that's just one little moment of that is worth everything in the world. Because I had this insane thing happen. I think it was because I took really strong marijuana drops before I went to bed. But I woke up in the morning and for a second, I was laying underneath my preferences. For a second, there was no preference. It was like being able to fly or something. Because it's like, I am absolutely fine right here. Because I think when people hear this stuff, becoming nobody, they really think, fuck that, man. I want to be a somebody. But my friend said, if I have no preference, I become nothing. If I have no preference, then I'm just, what am I, a sponge? What do I become at that point? From one POV, it almost sounds like you would be a vegetable. Or you would be like an opinionless, artless, culturalist thing, just some sort of blob.